If you're alive today, then you face a basic dilemma. That is, as we grow up, we become increasingly aware of the world's many problems, its dire emergencies and injustices, its darkness. Even if we cannot describe these issues analytically, or pin it down precisely, or we lack the right language to fully make sense of it, we nonetheless feel the weight of the world in our hearts. This common sentiment leads to a diversity of responses. Some of us might research a particular issue that bothers us, like climate change, social inequality, pollution, permanent war, human trafficking, or police violence, and then try to spread awareness of that issue to get others to care. We might also feel moved to engage in some sort of activism around the issue. Others are understandably daunted and overwhelmed by the severity and enormity of some crisis, and shy away from research and activism in favor of less stressful, more pleasant activities. And indeed, there are many other places to put our attention, many forms of entertainment to engage instead. Some people call this burying your head in the sand, and unfortunately, it's very easy to do. But we shouldn't blame people who divert their attention from the world's problems. I mean, these issues are often heart wrenching, and research or activism demands our time and energy. Many of us are overworked and busy, and we may not want to use our little free time to delve into a sad topic. In fact, we might feel that learning about it will only drain our remaining energy. Furthermore, we might feel guilty because we contributed to an issue, such as driving a car and releasing greenhouse gases. And this guilt tends to close us down too. At the same time, it's not healthy to repress anything of serious importance, such as climate change, mass extinction, toxic pollution, social inequality, and poverty, to name a few. Otherwise, the awareness of this issue, like climate chaos, for example, when repressed or rarely spoken about, never actually leaves the person. Instead, this repressed awareness leads to a numbing. It becomes a source of anxiety for the person, which in turn can possibly express itself in regrettable behaviors. And so the big question I've been leading up to is this: how can we open ourselves to these urgent crises, such as the sixth mass extinction and climate change and the damage we've wreaked on this planet, without sinking into despair or apathy, without becoming misanthropic towards other humans and thinking that people are entirely evil and there's no sense in even trying to create positive change? On the contrary, how can we open ourselves to these pressing issues while maintaining hope for positive changes? And also, what does it even mean to be hopeful in these times of vast social inequality and environmental destruction? Note that this dilemma between courageously opening ourselves to a crisis or diverting our attention and looking away is nothing new. Previous generations have had their own crises and injustices and have similarly been confronted with this choice of how to respond. The question is whether we treat a crisis as an invitation for personal growth and as an opportunity to reimagine new systems to live by. In the videos that follow, I'm going to suggest that when faced with darkness, we should bravely peer into that darkness, but that this is only possible if we have a support network or community to help us with the processing. I'm going to suggest that the despair we fear would envelop and swamp us if we were to closely examine some crisis is not a permanent rut that we get stuck in, but is only a temporary feeling, even if we cycle in and out of such feelings throughout our life. Rather, I'll suggest that acknowledging and experiencing our grief about the state of the world can be a transformative process. It can lead to courageous action and acts of care for those who are most marginalized. This goes for marginalized and oppressed groups of people and those non-human animals, plants, ecosystems, etc., that have been marginalized as mere, quote, economic externalities to the functioning of our current society. To conclude, let me tie things together and describe where we're going in this video series. First, I'll share about the collective action problem known as the problem of inconsequentialism. I'll show how this perspective, this problem, risks feeling disempowered as individuals seemingly unable to effect change in a large society. And yet, this problem also illuminates something about how positive changes can emerge. This disempowerment will be set up as a problem that gets resolved throughout the remaining videos, which will be the bulk of my work in this series. In these videos, I'll discuss grief work, Joanna Macy's concept of active hope, and virtue ethics, all of which can be seen as a highly empowering response to the problem of inconsequentialism. The goal of this series is to show the viewer why apathy, despair, and inaction are both unhelpful in creating a brighter future and that they can be worked through in favor of embracing uncertainty and acting courageously in the face of the unknown. This is where we're going next.